how to answer the door at 3 in the morning. This is a very common thread, by the way. If you go through forums, people like to talk about this. But the thing is, most people by far, almost everybody's missing the point. And say through this video, I'm going to give you the number one thing you should know about answering your door at 3 in the morning, because there's a number one mistake that people make about this. All right, they will say, of course, if someone comes to the door at 3 in the morning, you're locked and loaded. And I'm with you. I mean, I love saying it that way, but locked and loaded sounds kind of tough. Yeah, you should be locked and loaded, obviously. But that's actually can be problematic too, because they always think that's your number one answer, is always have some kind of weapon to be able to take care of what's inside of the door. And I agree with that, but it could get you in more trouble, because I want you to understand the number one reason somebody's at your door in the morning is at 3 a.m. in the morning, that is because it's often a police officer. I mean, you will get some people coming to your door, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, why that's problematic and why you need to address that, because they're not coming there to sell you Girl Scout cookies. But an officer may come to your door. That happens because maybe there's been a death in the family and they have no way of getting a hold of you. Even in this day and age of cell phones, people don't think about calling people. Sometimes they call the local police and say, can you stop at this house and let them know about something? Or maybe what we'll see is often like there's a neighborhood break-in. When I lived in the city, I remember just behind us, one house and one house over, all night, there was somebody in there who obviously was being, the words I'm looking for, he was homicidal. And he apparently killed his family, and the police were out there all night trying to handle this. And they'll come to your door. They want to make sure that you're going to be safe too. They'll knock on your door and say, listen, you might want to leave your premises and go somewhere, or just let you know we're looking for someone. The other side, if there's an officer on the side of the door and it's 3 in the morning, you open that door and you're carrying that firearm, I want you to understand, people get killed by this every single year. It happens quite often, surprisingly, a lot more than it should, obviously. Because here's the thing, that officer is doing his job, but he's there to protect himself, protect the people, but protect himself too. And you open the door with a firearm, he's going to at least draw on you. Very well may take you out. So keep that in mind. But listen, that's not the problem. I mean, that is a problem, but that's not the problem we're talking about. Them coming to your door, knocking at the door, you opening it is actually the biggest thing, because you will be the threat. All right, so I want you to understand the meat and potatoes of this video and what we want to look at as far as the number one mistake in opening your door at 3 a.m. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. There's a huge mistake with opening your door. The problem is you are opening your door. This is not the 1950s. It's not Wally and the Beef coming over to drop off some brownies. I mean, we wish we lived in neighborhoods like that, and maybe you do have some neighbors. But it doesn't matter if you have good neighbors or not, or friends that stop by. We live in a difficult time, and things are going to get more difficult. People becoming more malicious, more violent, more even sneaky. And again, I'll talk about that in a minute too, as far as the sneakiness, as far as opening the front door. And not only that, I have a story to tell you about that too. But here's the thing. Let's say it is the police. They come knock on the door. You could go to the door and say, who is it? Oh, it's the police. Open up. And all you have to do is, in reality, look in your front, look out your front windows, just peek out and see if there's a police car. If it's a police car, you're probably going to be just fine. Don't be locked and loaded if that's the case. But what it comes down to is you may not know who's out there. And I'll tell you right now, one of the best things you can do is simply just have your cell phone at the ready, and somebody knocks at the door. Let's say you do answer, say, who is it? And they say it's the police. Just call 911 and say, listen, there's a person outside my door. I'm at such and such address. And they'll say, oh yeah, we sent them out there for whatever reason. So it's an easy way, but I actually have a better way for that. If somebody's going to be breaking in your house, maybe it's the police at your door, maybe it's somebody who actually has something that they want to be able to steal from you or break in your home. What's best if you can do this is have a neighbor, like a neighbor across the street. Maybe you're kind of like-minded, and you'll say, listen, I have a deal with you. I'd like to make a deal. I may call you at 3 a.m. because somebody's knocking at my door. Can you look out your window and see what's going on? Because they'll get a better viewpoint. And then I'll, in exchange, do the same thing for you. If somebody knocks at your door at 3 a.m., I'll peek out for you and let you know. So having a buddy about that works very well. In fact, that gets into a story that I'm going to get to in just a minute. But I want you to understand that sneaky criminals may not be the smartest, but they do pick up tactics. And one of the best tactics is, I'm going to knock on the door, or I'm going to distract you while they come in through other means. So I love people's mindset, and this is a good mindset to have. I'm locked and loaded. Sure, you're locked and loaded at the front door while they're coming in through the back. Are you thinking about that? But it's even worse than that, because understand they're coming through your door. The tactics do come into play, and I want you to understand that they will have often teams. You do have individual burglars. Maybe they'll come to the front door, may break through the window. But when they have teams of people, especially crap hits the fan, they'll actually use diversions. All right, so here's a true story that happened to us here a few years ago. My kids, by the way, we practice this and drill this all the time. They know there is no answering the door. You do not answer the door for anyone. I do it. I take care of it, and therefore keeps you safe. We're out in the middle of nowhere in the country. We literally get one person knocking on our door maybe once a year. It very rarely happens. But sure enough, dunk, 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 somebody knocks on our door, the whole family freezes. What's going on? Remember back in the day? Somebody knocked on the door. Oh, look, somebody's here. Now it's like, shh, everybody, somebody's at the door. What a time we live in, right? So the kids are all quiet. We actually have a safe area they go to, and they actually went up to their safe area. So kudos to the kids. And I go to the door, and I have a way to be able to see the people out there, electronic or non-electronic. You might want to consider this. And there was a guy right there by the door, and another person kind of hiding around the corner. And I was like, through the door, what do you want? Well, I just want some water. Really? I mean, I know we're out in the middle of nowhere, and you get me get thirsty if you're out there. I was like, and my mind was, I want to help him out. I love people. But the way that guy was hiding over there, I said, no, I'm sorry. Get off my property. I'm not giving you anything. And they walked off. Well, I went to the front window, and sure enough, there was a third person kind of hiding behind a tree. And were they doing something that was up to no good? Very well could be. Because then they went to my neighbor's house across the street. And we have a neighbor that kind of goes around the side. You can't see his house from ours. But went over there, even though he has no trespassing signs anywhere, they walked right past it and walked in his backyard. So he got out and started shooting up. And I don't think he was shooting in the air or something. I'm not sure. But anyways, he was doing that, saying, get out of here. And finally, the people left. Because the thing is, when they come to your door, it's going to be a fraudulent reason. Okay, they want to get through that barrier, but I want you to understand the door is just one barrier. I don't care if you have your door steel reinforced. I don't care if you have that 3M film on your windows or cages on your windows. If somebody is determined, they're going to get in your house. So your best strategy, period, I don't care who it is. They knock on the door, you say nothing. You definitely don't answer the door, but you say nothing. You go into defensive mode. You get into defensive mode and be ready, because if it is a criminal, they're going to be coming in and you not knowing there. But guess what? Now you're defending your castle and you're going to be good to go, legally speaking. But don't say a word. If you look out the window and it's a police officer, sure, it's up to you. But it's not. I mean, look, maybe some neighbor bringing you brownies. It really is. It's Wally and the Beef. Look out your window, and if you see the neighbor walking away with the brownies, it's up to you if you want to say, hold on, I'm here, and open the door at that point. But when people say how to answer the door at 3 a.m. or how to answer the door at 3 p.m., that's a trick question. You don't answer your door. We're way past those days. Don't answer your door ever. What kind of weird encounters have you had at your front door? Because they definitely on the rise. Put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.